with X and Demo. Let's have it.
As if by magic, here I am. It's a fun walk, isn't it?
Sure.
It's a nice trip. We are here with map number 3. This is our first game. We've got a lot of Siege left to get through, not only today, but in the coming days as well. But here and now, we are going to find out who is going to advance through the upper bracket and who is going to drop into the lower. Helios versus Hellraisers, a game that has been very different, Demo, to what we were expecting, to what is the, air quotes, norm.
Yep.
Part of that weirdness and unexpectedness has been happening here in the bands.
Yeah, it's been, it's just a bit of Siege. I was also informed, Ollie, is that in that Villa game, me and you missed it because obviously there was a lot to digest and a lot going on. But in one of the rounds, they actually let the game decide what bomb site they would go to.
Really?
They didn't vote for a bomb site, and they got automatically given one. That is where we're at, and they've... Oh, wow, look at that. Just, again.
Yeah. What do you think they do in the sort of 15 seconds that you can use to choose a ban?
They just don't care.
I imagine there's some like meme music playing in the background.
All they do is the same thing, and somehow they've been winning rounds, which is, I think, more of the craziness that's happened is the fact that they've managed to win a map.
That's the scary thing. That is the scary thing, and it shows how far you can go based off teamwork and gun skill. It's not to say they haven't got any strategy. There is strategy there. There is some coordination that we see them try to bring as well, more so on the defense than the attack. But we do see it again on the attack as well. But it just goes to show that bans aren't everything, and sometimes being unpredictable can be very difficult to try and play against. And that's really what Hellraisers are coming up against right now. They've got themselves locked in here to an Oregon, which is, after the way that Bank went, probably the last thing on their mind.
So, Oregon, this is more of your mainstream kind of map. Very 50-50, doesn't necessarily favor one side or the other. It really comes down to just the teams in question, I suppose, and see how they kind of want to run it up, I suppose. But it will be Hellraisers on the defense. So Hellraisers have looked extremely well on the defense, and obviously Helios, they've had quite a few issues with the attacking phase of things. So I think right off the get-go, you would kind of fancy Hellraisers to run up a good lead. I personally believe if you can get 3 attacks on Oregon, you've done extremely well.
A 3-3 split on Oregon is the fabled split, isn't it? That's really what you want to be trying to look toward getting. Now, if that is going to happen or not is an entirely different question. Helios on the attack here. If the trend of the evening is to continue, Demo, that would wager that Hellraisers have a bit of an advantage here, given that defense has been so dominant throughout the course of the evening. But that isn't a guarantee. We haven't seen Helios so far play 2 maps in the same style, the same fashion. If you didn't have names above these players, or it was just listed 1, 2, 3, you wouldn't know that it was the same team that played Bank that then went on to win Villa. It would be very difficult to tell. So it really is about what team shows up on the map. It seems not even just the night.
So we start off very anchor heavy from Hellraisers. No roam game really being associated with them at the moment. They're happy enough to play, of course, with that Kaid up whenever Thatcher is banned out, and it makes the Kaid clause just that ever so bit stronger. But to be fair, Helios, they do have a Maverick, of course, so in terms of getting hatches open, they can still physically do that. As you can see, Brian will start to begin that. Takes quite a bit of chip damage, though, Ollie, from, of course, the electrified hatch, but I don't think he minds too much, does he? As long as he gets that hatch open, that's all that matters.
Could be a very tricky thing to Maverick open the hatch, especially if it's Electroclawed and you're really not looking to try and take any damage. It can be done. You're trying to get it done quickly so that you can get on with the rest of the round. Purple just looking to drone out now at the back stairs. It's immediately going to get caught out. It's a good push that's formulating here from Helios. They're looking to set up in all the right places. They've got the hatch open. Immediately, a dropped Iana clone will be dealt with. it's going to tell you nothing really that you didn't already know. But an opening pick here onto Exodus, that is pretty huge. Immediately traded, as Smash is going to then find himself into another engagement. This is back and forth, and that hatch drop's worked wonders. Leveled up at 3 apiece, make it 3-2, as Hellraisers are struggling to try and hold on here. The aggression and the unpredictability, again, that we've spoken of, is slowly but surely crumbling. Players now dropping like flies on either side. A mission and rush to keep it together. How have they managed to do that, Demo? That was so backward and forward.
Just a round chock full of action everywhere you turned, and Hellraisers being able just to outdo them there in the final few seconds. Wow, I mean, Helios, they tried to hit it quick. I think the fact that they got that opening pick, they just went for it. They played off it as quickly as they could. They took elbow control with very little issue. But that man in the freezer, you have to command rush. Him in that position, so difficult to deal with. He hit his shots, which makes the main thing. And yeah, he caused them a lot of issues, and then holding the nerve in the kind of end game there for a mission. Just what you expect. And again, I think you can see the impact that a mission has had in this team.
Yeah, you really can. It's evident in every round almost. He's been the player that's had the sort of fanciful clutching as well that's been going on, and really kept his team in it when it matters the most. So certainly a lot of experience coming in there, and giving that experience to sort of players that are yet to prove themselves can be a massive thing, can be a big confidence boost as well, knowing that you've got someone that can lead the ship a little bit and keep you on an even keel. But again, Oregon kind of going as expected. Helios, they had a good opportunity there, but it was all off the back of aggression. It was off the back of double pushing and gun skill and a very scrappy engagement. I don't really think they had all of the answers before they fully committed to that hatch drop and that push. They'd not really opened anything. They hadn't seemingly cleared hotspots out. There's a chance for them to redeem themselves and get something happening here.
So now we will head to probably the third pick bomb site that we see these days, and it will be the kitchen and meeting room hold. So this bomb site plays out very heavily into the top floor pressure that both attackers and defenders can apply. And the reason why that is, Ollie, is we have a hatch smack bang in the middle of the meeting room. So hatches, as we know, especially if there's one in a kind of scenario where it can cover every single angle, defenders and attackers are going to want that, you know, both ends. It means that the defenders, they can't sit in sight because you get killed from the hatch, and obviously attackers, they can't plant unless they have the hatch control, or else the defenders will simply stop them. So that's what it all comes down to. Of course, the attackers, they have to, if they want to try and take control of that hatch, they will be the ones doing the aggression. But talking about aggression, look at Exodus. He's kind of on a bit of a roam game towards Classroom. He will get logic bombed out. Is Robin going to be able to capitalize this information? Doesn't look to be the case. In comes Helios. They will now begin this opening of the attic, which is, I think, kind of expected, isn't it, Ollie? You would expect to see this kind of play out whenever you have the Maverick. Kaid does nothing. You know, Maverick isn't going to get stopped by a bit of electricity, is he?
I'm not sure what it is about these players and nades. Robin eventually manages to make one land, but his first one bounced off the door frame, and it wasn't an indicator for Exodus to move. He didn't think he was maybe going to get a drone in on his position there after the player's missed thrown already won. But Classroom control there if required. It's more importantly control of maps and a bit more of an extension over into that main lobby area. Brian, great kill there onto Rush, getting caught out as he tries to peek through the vertical angle. And this is the problem if you're not going to hold on to Attic. You will very quickly lose control of the site. The diffuser going down, Flair's getting caught out by the logic bomb and full white flash as if things couldn't get much worse. The plant confirmed and a shotgun in hand. Multiple enemies approached him. Purple to pick that final kill up. That round gave them no trouble whatsoever, Demo. That was as textbook as you like. It was as checklist as you want it to be. Great round from Helios. Honestly, the best round we've seen them play so far. Hands down.
It was the most structured. You know, they had kind of one guy lurking on the other side of the map, which we see, you know, just the Yana sees what he can do. Can he find a kill here or there, trying to open things up? He did that, which was great. But Attic, more importantly, I think it kind of highlighted the effects of not controlling that top floor. If you don't have Attic control, look what Brian just done. Just swung the hatch, got an easy kill, and from there they could just flood as long as they wanted. And yeah, just so simple for them. So one round apiece, and Hellraisers very swiftly moving on to their kid's bedroom next off. So this bomb site, I think in the current meta we've seen play much more of a kind of staple roam game has kind of been developed. Longer the days of 5-man sitting on site with anchor operators. You know, back in the day whenever Echo was a constant pick for this bomb site, you just tuck him into a corner and hope he stays alive. Doesn't really happen very often. We see a lot of teams now holding towards kitchen. Reason being is the C4s that you can get. You can stop anyone planting inside of kids, of course. You can then even extend in towards server, and that stops anyone jumping in towards double window. So a whole attack just gets cut off if you defend kitchen.
We've just become a lot more explodey, haven't we? Everything's about explosives, whether it's a C4 or whether it's about a nade. Nades thrown from below, great. Almost better than a book, especially depending on who's throwing them and who's making use of them. You see some guys, and they're going out there, and they're regularly picking up 2-3 kills in attacking phase just off the back of nades thrown vertically. That is a problem. You can't deal with that. So you need to have that pressure downstairs. You need to have somebody in there that can at least look to waste a little bit of time. And, of course, give a bit of a focus for these attackers to push on into. Try and burn a bit of the clock off and see if you can't just give yourself an advantage in that way. Nails. Drone on into sight, very quickly gets taken out by the mute. Didn't really learn too much, knows that there's going to be a mute jammer played and a mute, so potential a bit of information there for a nade to go in and at least remove the jammer, but could be expensive. Quite a hurried push here as we see players actually rushing down into pit. Oh no, this could be a nightmare. So early on into the round, Brian, he's straight in. He's already found one before being traded back out. Flares picks up the pieces, but Nails is following him up. Robin's hopped himself in, and he's going to pick up one as well. 4 versus 2 now as the kills continue to flood on in. Mission, he's going to be getting caught out inside of kids. Grabs one, immediately traded. Smash trying to fight his way through the top of White Stairs, but it is not good enough. A quick fire round there from Helios.
See, everyone, I'm past the point of just, you know, just me being me, where I'm just losing it, just left and right. I've accepted this. I've came to the realization that this is Siege. This is what everyone should be striving towards. This is it.
This is why you're struggling in your rank games.
This is gone. This is it. Every professional team out there, take notes. This is the future. This is it. It's garlic bread. That's what this is. They are the equivalent of garlic bread. It is the future.
Is this what it's become?
This is it.
Just a 3-man rush through attic, someone hopping in through kid's window,
that's it.
Somebody jumping in double window. Never mind the utility. I mean, what do you do to it? How do you counter it? What do you bring?
Well, here's the thing for Hellraisers. You look at what happened in Bank, right? Bank,
that didn't work on Bank.
It didn't, exactly. How's it working now? Maybe Hellraisers rattled by what's happened in Villa.
Yeah.
They're letting things catch them off guard. Maybe they're tunnel visioning into another department of their kind of gameplay that isn't working for them. They want to try and adjust that, whatever it is. But now they've kind of got into a situation where the simplest little things that shouldn't work are now working against them. And that's a worry. Because this is where the mental warfare comes in.
5 seconds to go.
Bit of a problem. Surely it doesn't happen again.
Attackers are moving out to look.
There's a million things that we could go through and talk about why that round shouldn't have happened. The bulletproof that we've just seen placed there is a good way to start. But the excuse, I guess, would be that if all 5 players are alive, there's an unlikely chance that somebody's actually sort of manning the cameras. Someone isn't really going to be looking at all the cameras at the same time.
Yeah.
So there's a chance that you're going to slip through there, especially if everyone's out doing their own thing or still even doing some setup, because it was quite an early push.
One operator that I think would work wonders for them if they're worried about these constant rushes that are happening. Melusi is a very strong pick for Oregon. Very, very strong. You can place them on the staircases, of course, one in towards attic. It's not so obviously Melusi has been nerfed where you can just simply shoot the gadget whenever it opens up. But it was never the case of, oh, you know, it's bulletproof, you have to use an explosive. It wasn't always about that. It was just the information you can gain. You know exactly where somebody's rushing in from.
It's louder than a blowtorch, which is what we're hearing now, which nobody really can hear if they're anywhere outside of pit. Now, you'd hope that Hellraisers have an idea, especially with the window going as well. Drone can now be removed. Mission immediately pushing on back, though. Doesn't want to give himself away there. I'd maybe expect a bit more of a fuller defense inside of attic and maybe someone with a shield to maybe challenge on stat, but a vertical angle will do just fine. Picks up 2, flares a second. That is why that is not a repeatable strategy, my friends. 2 kills apiece for Flare and Emission's rush. He's going to fall to Nails from that big window. The diffuser down inside of the attic. 1:20 left. And a Dokkaebi. It doesn't spell clutchable, does it, Demo? It doesn't. This isn't making me feel that Helios are going to be able to get the job done here.
Oh.
Nails accidentally, I imagine, drops all the way down into the basement. Can look to push up through Freezer, maybe further up through White. Could catch Exodus out here. Maybe, just maybe. Not sure if any cameras have been hacked yet. We can still see the phone symbol, so I would imagine not. But still, one logic bomb in pocket as well. We've seen some crazy stuff tonight, Demo. Are we going to see a 1 versus 4?
No.
I think you're fairly measured in that assessment.
This moment, I just think Helios need to kind of assess themselves. They tried the same thing again, Ollie. Hellraisers are not letting that happen twice. They're not letting it happen twice to them.
Something that's been really good for Hellraisers has been these breaks. You know, just this bit of downtime where there's not a lot happening. Usually they're able to structure themselves quite well. And without really realizing it or without really being able to do anything about it, Helios are giving them that time now to not only focus on getting this round over the line because they have an enormous amount of odds stacked in their favor, but just in general, being able to then go forward and look to try and pick up a couple more in the form of this game. A little bit of a whiff shot there. But alas, a round's a round. Doesn't matter how you get it. Doesn't matter if it's pretty. Doesn't matter if it is not. It levels us up here at 2 rounds apiece. The rush not working there for Helios. I feel like I've said that a couple of times so far this evening, but it is true. They went for exactly the same approach that they tried in round number 4. You can't get away with that sort of stuff.
Yeah, and I think for Helios, now they look towards the laundry. Last time they attacked this, it was, again, very Rush-esque. It was a little bit slower pace, but still, as soon as they got opening pick, they were not afraid just to flood, and it didn't work for them. I mean, basement can be a very difficult bomb site to attack. You know, we've seen a lot of teams struggle down here. You know, we've seen teams have to attack this bomb site maybe 3 times and lose it every single time. You can have 2 thought processes. You can either attack from blue, or you can attack from laundry freezer. Either or is going to be difficult, yeah? I think pros and cons are your kind of laundry freezer take. It's easy to gain control, but a very difficult execute, whereas blue, we all know, we've seen the hard-fought battles inside of Elbow against, you know, the smokes behind the shields and guys swinging from Shaiko. Very, very tedious to play against. But then again, once you actually win that engagement and you win that fight, pushing on the site is very, very easy.
Yeah, it really is. And it's about which sort of suits your team's play style the most. If you're good at burning utility and you're good at really accurately placing nades and things, you can get away with taking in through laundry and freezer. But if you're just going to try and force your way in through blue, it can be a little bit of a problem, especially if there's Capcan traps, Demo. I'm
actually loving the Capcans against Helios.
It's a great pick.
Helios, the information hasn't really been there. There has been, I mean, how many times have you seen somebody on a drone?
Well, they've always got 3 drones after the drone phase. They always lose around 2, which isn't great to start with. It sometimes can't be avoided, but if you know where the site is, maybe keep your drone safe. But those Capcans, it's going to take time to drone out, and time is not something that we usually see Helios
doesn't look
spend.
as if they're checking door frames.
No, why would you? Why would you at this point?
Hatch is open anyway. Well, laundry is. Obviously, that E-box hatch is going to be electrified, and Brian will have to, once again, take some damage for the cause, and we'll start to open up with that below torch. Shouldn't take him too long, but still, just delays him just a bit. So, Helios, again, setting up pretty much the same way they did last time, isn't this kind of what they were after, opening up the E-box, and then they kind of assessed their options and started looking to drop the hatches. I think it was Nay last time kind of slipped in and found an opening pick. I don't know if he came from freezer, if he came down from laundry stairs, wherever it was, but don't be surprised if he tries to do the same thing again.
The Gemini clone getting sent down the hatch is pretty par for the course. That exact same thing happened previously. It's an attempt to burn the laser gate without having to use another piece of utility on it. Gemini clones can burn the laser gates, and that's what the attempt is there, and to gather obviously a smidgen of information. But it's allowing the nades to come through. We can hear the Logic Bomb phone call ringing out. The C4, maybe a little bit premature there as the drop has been allowed. Brian's actually solo dropped, and he has got the diffuser. So it's a strange choice. Robin's actually not dropped immediately behind him, and maybe is looking to take some people by surprise. Now we're seeing a bit of utility used. Emission's going to pick up the first kill over onto Purple, smash a second, as things are really starting to fall apart here. Potential for a flank as well. And if somebody flanks on down, that is going to make things even more difficult. A down player for Helios makes this a 1 versus 4, essentially. Nails has been recovered. 2 versus 4, pushing round. Wall hasn't been pocket reinforced, which is quite interesting. At this point, that could have happened, but it has been quite scrappy. It has been quite back and forth, and there it is, 2-2. 2 kills clawed back here, but only 1 HP for Nitro and a little less than 10 for Nails. They've still got to try and make this happen. They need to recover the diffuser, but there's live ping information on them. Rush, he's going to be holding on to the angle of one, swings and finds Nails. All he's got to do now is place 1 bullet onto Nitro, but the plant will be going down. Now, we've already seen red ping, so we know there's a chance of information. Hellraisers, they've got to try and stop this plant from going down somehow. 15 seconds left. There's 2 of them. They can try and push this. It's looking as though Nitro is going to try and play the bait. The C4 goes, but it doesn't dish the damage. A swing with a bear in 9 is unsuccessful. Surely, but surely find the kill. It was a trade. The Hellraisers, they come out on top. How have they managed that one, Demo?
Hellraisers almost throwing it away, but because it is a trade, the defenders will always win that round. So that's how Siege works. If it's a trade in the final engagement, the defenders will win that. So yeah, very, very unfortunate for Helios there, but an almost clutch that he should never have been able to get.
That is not the win condition that you want to be winning the round off the back of. Nitro's played a blinder. A little bit more health. I don't think it was a headshot. A little bit more health. That's all he needed. A very fine margin indeed.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs.
Final round of the defense for Hellraisers. They need to be making the most of it, especially after that, because that was close. We could have been sat here thinking, God, you know, Helios, they could be coming out of this 4-2. They might be laughing all the way to the bank, all the way to the upper finals. This wasn't a great sight. Remember back, think back.
This was the one of the worst sights, I would say, for Hellraisers, and reason being is they had very little control of attic whatsoever. And if you forfeit that attic control, that means you forfeit the meat and hatch, and if you don't have meat and hatch, that's it, you can't defend the site. So very, very tricky for Hellraisers, and I would expect to see them put a little bit more fight, a little bit more prowess towards that side of the map. In terms of Helios, again, bringing the Maverick, so if there is any Kais, which there isn't this time, won't really be any issues for them on the attic wall. Will be a mute jammer, but those should be taken care of quite easily. It's very simple to try and take control of green and kind of move in from there.
It's a really strange hold from Hellraisers as well. They're not opening the hatch down into the box, electrical box. They're only playing 1 C4. Typically, you'd bring a Valkyrie, you play 2 C4s, you try and C4 up from the hatch, let the plant go down and bait it out that way. At least they're playing inside of attic and pit this time a little bit more. We've got some presence upstairs. That was a big, big win for Helios and being able to get control of that quite early on. But the setup really does just seem a bit lacking. They're not giving themselves as many ways to get back into the site, or at least to affect what is going on the site. We've got a couple of players looking fairly stacked up. Flares inside of security and emission. He's just going to be on the lower portion of the freezer stairs at the moment. A lot of focus in onto tower, as is to be expected, really. If that control is given away so early, it really could be another disastrous round, because you know these Helios guys, when they get a sniff, that's it. That's all they need. They're straight on in. Yeah,
very true. I mean, Helios, they don't waste time at all. They see an opportunity and they just run at it with everything that they have. So that mute jam on the wall has to get taken care of, but there will be an Ella shotgun waiting on the other side, though, Ollie, which is the only thing they have to go up against. They will now bring in the Maverick to eliminate that mute jammer, so that won't be an issue for them any longer. And I think Smash has realized this and will back away behind that bomb chassis into a safe location. Upstairs is where Helios are trying to pressure Robin, taking that gunfight against Exodus, who has had a very quiet game, Ollie. 0-4 for Exodus. This has not been the same guy that we have seen throughout this series.
Relatively slow game on Villa as well. You know, not as sort of flashing lights as Bank really was for him, but maybe going to get a chance here. Oh, just misses the shots on the door frame, but flicks onto the head. Great recovery there from Exodus. Smash sees a chunk of damage as well and eventually will be finished off. Players start to push in now onto the stage. A lot of information available. That deep bulletproof camera is providing so much intel here for Hellraisers that they're going to know where this plant is going down at the least. Emission makes it land with the DMR. Those aren't easy shots to be getting. Exodus, we mentioned his name and he steps up to the plate. Flares picks the final kill. A 4-2 split at the half. Hellraisers, they've done something there to salvage what could have been a very disastrous first phase.
It could have been. Hellraisers have done extremely well. That's what we expect to see from your Oregon defenses is, you know, kind of minimum 4 rounds. That's whenever you're in a good position. But But yeah, I don't know. It was definitely close. It could have easily have been, you know, like you said, much more of a worrying sign for Hellraisers, but they played that well. Information, again, the Bulletproof did all the work. All the work. And it was just a simple case of rotating players. That was all it was. And Exodus showed up. That was his round, and he made a big impact, a big splash, and he's been able to kind of win that round over for his team. Because that engagement against the Iana, if he didn't win that, they would have been in hot water.
That's been the big takeaway from Hellraisers as well. Over the course of the 3 maps, the thing that's remained consistent, less so on Villa, but definitely on Bank and on Oregon, has been Bulletproof cameras. They are really good with... And Bulletproofs is something that are overlooked. Underrated utility in my eyes. Especially given the other things that, you know, everyone wants to take the C4. Everyone wants the flashy play. You want the C4. You want to be able to go. The Bulletproof cameras are very, very valuable. And Hellraisers have shown us that multiple times here, depending on the position. All right, we can call out the one that was in pit that could have stopped the rush but didn't, but we'll let that one slide. The other times that they've used them, they've been really good. And on the flip side of that, Helios have been really bad at clearing that utility out, especially given how much easier it is now to clear it than it was when it first came out. But that aside, we switch the sides. Helios. They continue their sort of slightly off-meta picks. It's not quite off-meta, but you'd expect players to be going downstairs into laundry for round number 1. But Helios, they are not just any old team. They are the team that are going to keep things unpredictable. And they're going to go upstairs to kids for the first round. This shouldn't be too much of a problem. Hellraisers have got relatively standard lineup here. They can get open both into games and through into Attic if required. We've got Rush on the IQ as well to spot out any pieces of utility. Mainly going to be looking at those Valkyrie cameras here. A couple of Frostmats demo. We mentioned them last time. We did hear one.
Yep. Did indeed. And well, Rush has been able to find the first pick against Helios. That's a good start. And there's the second. Hellraisers are really starting to raise hell now, Ollie, as Helios are in a very tricky position. Not a lot of players on site. Still one guy trapped over towards Small Tower, and he looks as if he might also meet his demise in a couple of seconds, Ollie. Hellraisers are going to start to try and push in and swing in. Great drone work as well, making sure nobody can support and just keeping this Jaeger trapped. And they have eliminated him with ease. Hellraisers has got 3 kills within inside a minute.
That's how you do it. That's how you deal with a roam game. Go all out at it. It's cost them. It's cost them drones. It's cost them 7. But they've still got plenty of things to get the job done. 4 nades in the hands of Emission and Exodus. Exothermic charges. Still got IQ scanner. There's still information that can be gathered here. Robin looking to be the hero, pushing on round immediately into Smash. A 1-for-1 trade, but not the result that Robin would have been after. He's looking to get a kill and get out. He's looking to maybe get 2, maybe get 3 and try and start to drag this round back. Not leave Nitro in the clutch. Not leave him 1 versus 4, which he, of course, is now. There are a couple of Frostmats knocking about. We can see one just in the corner there. It's unlikely to get anyone, but it may. There's still a reasonable advantage here. Quite a mammoth one for Hellraisers. 4 versus 1. Big window now open. Nitro should be just getting pinched more and more by the second. You want this net to be tightening as the Sharks start to circle. Flares. Going to be looking to get the angle through that big window, cutting off a lot of the site there. Still, Hellraisers lacking that info. Nitro finds an easy one. Could find a second here, puts at least a good chunk of damage in onto Rush, and Rush dips back on out. How is he doing this demo? Picks a 1 onto Flares. They're pushing him 1 at a time. This is not how you close out a 4 versus 1. He's going to pick another onto Exodus. There's 20 seconds left. Rush, he's got 1 HP. He's 1 shot to any bullet. The shots come through. Nitro, how has he done this demo? What a clutch!
We talked about what happened on Bank. Hellraisers have just done another one. Another one has happened. There it is. Out of the mud. Get out of the mud, Hellraisers.
Someone's in the mud.
I don't know how you ever lose that round.
You shouldn't. You can't lose that.
Obviously, we talked about the Bank round, which again should never have happened. Arguably worse to happen to you.
Oh yeah, that's the worst. Yeah.
That is just bad siege from Hellraisers. Just one of the worst rounds I think we've seen them play. I just don't know how you lose that.
Without a shadow they didn't have a lot of information. They had 1 drone. Now, if that drone was in Narnia and they couldn't get to it, so be it. But they also had a lot of time. They had 3 drones going into that. They've managed to throw that opportunity. And it's a big shame because they started the round so well, Demo. Attacking rounds,
It was phenomenal.
They're not easy to come by.
The way they started was great.
We've seen these teams so far play 2 maps of Siege, and we know that attacking rounds aren't easy to come by for them. And to throw one away, a 4 versus 1. You know when I knew he'd done it? As soon as he got the second kill. Because you could see
both
the
of them
panic.
ripping up.
You could see the
Yeah.
panic. And you could see the way that the next couple of kills went down, and then as soon as it's the 1 versus 1, Rush is sat there, he's got no HP, and because he was the one that immediately peaked, lived, and then dropped back. And at that point I'm thinking, right, that was a good choice. He didn't throw himself at the problem. They need to just rotate someone up through Armory, do something.
I don't get to that stage why you just don't carry out a normal bedroom take. You still have a Thermite.
Yeah.
Why do you not just go open up the wall and just make it easy?
Yeah.
You know, put the pressure on that guy, because what they're essentially doing, Ollie, is giving him funnels.
Just
One of the
1v1.
funnels
Yep.
at White's there is one of them in double window.
Yep.
Both of them, we've seen him, you know, he was able to just swing and kill them as easy as anything.
It's riled me. I feel riled after that round.
Welcome to my world.
Let's see if that's going to be the momentum that Helios need. Could be something. They could try and level things up here. Downstairs into the basement. First time we're seeing this site attacked here. Smash has already got himself first blooded. Not a great start to lose the Finker. Lose the nades, lose the Gon 6. A lot of pushing power. Disappeared. How are they going to respond? Purple, lurking. Going to get himself back onto the site. Exodus did have a chance there at catching him out on the drone. Still, it's a slow and steady push here from Hellraisers. They've got to be still moulding after that previous round. You need to try and let that sit that at the back of the minds and just focus on what's to come. Oh, look at this positioning, Demo.
Yeah, Brian.
That's a disaster.
Yep, top of big tower. Don't know if they know he's there. We'll find out. I'll be able to tell straight away if Exodus knows he's up here. And okay, I don't think they do, but he's checking it anyway. He has found out that information, but now taking big tower is a whole different affair. Brian isn't even going to give them a chance. He's going to very quickly move back downstairs. Will this cutoff be stopped? It looks as if it will be. Exodus will now move into position and should be able to get an easy kill. Yes, he will. Nice try from Brian. I think he kind of fought against it. Purple, a great rotate up, but Brian in that scenario, Ollie, he just thought, you know what, I have to try and get back to site. I'll go for it. It didn't work for him.
I think he's lost his nerve there a little bit, and I think he could have probably got away with staying there for a bit longer and be a bit more of a problem, be something that they've got to root out, because at this point, it isn't the end of the world. Purple rotating up and picking up flares is a huge kill, because that's the hard breach gone, so anything that wasn't done is now going to struggle to be done, especially with the blowtorch. I imagine that the hatch is going to be open, especially inside of meeting, but we're seeing pocket reinforcements used now. Man of the moment, Nitro, holding on to the back stairs. ADS is going to save him from the nade, but a second one almost definitely is going to sing on through. Doesn't deal the required amount of damage. Purple, he's going to be able to take down Rush as the advantage here furthers for Helios. 4 versus 2. We've seen these thrown before, but you get the feeling that that isn't going to happen in the here and now. An unfortunate team kill, and Nitro, who else? The man that finished off the previous round in so much style to close out here and level us up.
Helios were able to play against the man advantage they had and just kind of sat back and quite literally let Hellraisers just destroy themselves. Obviously, we've seen the TK, well, not a TK, but a self-K happen there in the final few seconds. But, I mean, the thing with Hellraisers and the attack they went for the blue take. If you don't have man advantage for blue, it's very difficult to really rely on that being a valid strategy. If you look at the positionings, you look how well we see Nitro and Purple play on Pillar and Shaiko alike. Those two were unbeatable. Nobody could kill one without getting killed by the other. That's the positions that they put themselves into. And if you don't have the man advantage, you're not going to be able to have the manpower to refrag them. And Hellraisers, they just couldn't do it. They tried to rely on nades, but whenever there is still ADSs on the board, that's going to be tricky to burn through.
4 rounds apiece is where we currently sit. Let's see if Hellraisers have what it takes. They've been through the mill tonight, Demo. It hasn't been an easy game for them at all.
Is it bad if I say I feel sorry for Hellraisers?
I feel a little bit sorry for them in that they had such success on Bank, and that's got to feel amazing. And then now,
me personally, I would never want to play against this Helios team.
I don't think anyone does.
How can you think against this team? It's just, yeah.
You know about Helios? If they do drop down into the lower bracket, I think they'll make a run of it.
You reckon?
Just because they'll be a nightmare. They're that, like you say, they are that nightmare team that you don't want to play against. That's a prediction. They might win this and they might go through the upper.
Cause another issue for another top team. Yeah.
This could be a catalogue of issues.
Of course, the winner of this game will move up into our first semi-final, and then they will then play the winner of our next game, Defro and 86, which is still to come up. This is only the first game.
Despite the 7-0 bank, we're going all the way in terms of maps.
You said quick night. Well, thanks for that, Ollie.
No, I knew it was never going to be a quick night. But when you see the first game as 7-0, you start to think, right, you know, like this first best of 3 could be quite quick. But then Helios come with
We're
the
living in
fight back.
hopium, Ollie.
I don't know what you mean. This is going to OT. It's got it written all over it at the moment. Hellraisers, you can almost feel that sort of lack of confidence at the minute. You've got Exodus slowly, sort of gently pushing up at the top of these white stairs, but it isn't threatening. It's not seemingly off the back of information.
He needs to make a big play in these attacks. You know, we've kind of looked to him inside a bank, inside a villa to make these big plays, had moments of that inside of defense, but overall has definitely underperformed of where he needs to be. Nitro, however, has definitely kind of taken the reins of his side and has really thrust them in with 11 kills. But right now he's going to have to thrust them even further as they are in quite a pickle. 4v2 now it stands. Hellraisers have completely abolished that top floor hold, and now they've started to work their way down in towards the kitchen. Purple is the lone man on site. As right now Smash is trying to hold on to this Frost as best as he can, and Nitro, is he going to take the plummet? Yes, he will. So now both of them will double up. But nobody's really inside a meeting, Ollie, which is really the only worry that I think we have right now.
And the thing is, where have we been here before? We have seen a similar situation where a similar man count has gone the opposite direction. It is not locked in until it is on the scoreboard at the top of our screens. And this is when the doubt starts to creep in for Hellraisers. They know they've been in a similar position and they know they've been unable to close it out. Again, they've got 3 drones left. And I think that Exodus is going to be the only player with 1 or 2 drones in his pocket. We see him on a drone at the moment. He'll be desperately trying to gather as much info as possible. Still 2 nades for Smash and a couple of boosts available. But 22 seconds is not a great deal of time at all, especially if Nitro is going to continue to cut down your team. Smash out of action, and with him the nades and the boosts that would have given a little bit of health in this final engagement. Exodus, great refrag over onto Nitro, shuts him down on the narrowest of angles, and Purple now left in the clutch. The plank going down on the 0-second mark. That cannot be stopped now as he picks up another onto a mission. Purple doesn't aggressively push on in. He's playing the rook. It's slow, it's steady. It isn't going to give you that speed of rotation that you need to try and stop the plant in that circumstance. Flares is going to be looking to try and pre-fire through, as is Exodus. Purple roughly knows where the plant's gone down. He knows it is at least inside of kitchen, but aside from that, looks starved of intel. We're seeing rotations now come through. Hellraisers don't want to give him a chance to try and disable that, and we've already seen Purple on the wrong side of one of these engagements before. Exodus is going to close things up. Good bit of sound there, or a call out from his team, and a pre-fire was all it took. That's going to feel pretty good if you're Hellraisers.
It is good bounce back, gets them back into the lead now, gives them that momentum. And whenever Nitro got a kill, Ollie, and it went then into, I would say, familiar territory for Hellraisers, I did get worried for them. I really did. It wouldn't put me past them to kind of see that happen again, just with the confidence that Nitro is having in this game. But nope, they were able to stop him, and all credit Hellraisers, a good round, a very solid round. Again, their opening was great. No issues with that roam game, being able to take control of that top floor with little ease, and from there, kind of adjusting. I think they went for a better approach, where they grouped up, which I think was much better than what we've seen previously with their kids attack, where they start off well, and then obviously Nitro happened, and rest is history.
I must admit, I think that my heart skipped a beat when I saw the Nitro kill as well come through, because I was very much of the thought process. He's done it before, he can do it again, he's got the confidence to do so. He's currently 12-5, top fragging by far and away in the server, albeit he's had a great clutch that's padded those stats, but he's deserved them, and he's put in a good shift.
So now we look towards this kids bomb set again for Helios. Last time it was down to an incredible clutch by Nitro. Massive misplay from Hellraisers, and knowing Hellraisers, a lot of things don't work twice, do they? So you would expect them to really clutch up and win their rounds if they were put in those positions again, which, to be fair, I think we've seen that in the last round. They were in that similar position where it was uneasy, didn't really know which way it was going to swing, but they managed to maintain themselves.
Yeah, lightning doesn't strike twice, at least in the same place, as the saying goes. See how Hellraiser's trying to approach this. Exeter's getting himself in underneath so far, which is a nice way to go about things. Obviously, being on the Iana, he does have the nades to work with, can try and throw those vertically. There's going to be a bit of a utility investment in downstairs kitchen as well. Purple, Robin, both not too far away. A little cheeky rotate in. A couple of shots there may just give the game away. Exodus going to jump into the Gemini, see if he can gather any intel. Gets a glimpse before burning the Aruni gate with it. Now can look to try and open up onto the wall. Nades on in.
Oh.
How's he done that again? That's twice.
I don't
He'd
know.
only just started cooking that nade as well.
I have no idea what's happened, but wow, what a pick from Rush. Opens up the kitchen wall and catches out Purple. A great play to get them back in after the mishap that happened with Exodus, and now Rush, is he perhaps eyeing up another one? Robin is lurking in towards green. Just waiting, neither of them really wanting to go for the swing, and Robin, I think very wisely, I was about to say maybe backs off, but doesn't look as if he wants to give it up as of yet. Flares will find Brian, and now I think this might put a bit of pressure on the Robin, and he does swing, will spot out the buck. Challenge him with the shoulder, just gains the information. Great work from him. Oh dear, Ollie, I see somebody on the meat and hatch, and I don't think that Rush is ready for somebody in this position.
Nails is playing a great game there on the hatch, and with the line of sight, it's almost like Robin is laying the breadcrumb trail for Nails to take advantage of. If anyone goes lurking, it will be required elsewhere, though. Chooses instead to push back into the site. Robin still on the roam is a big problem. He's a player that can put up good numbers, as we've seen, and he's got information. He knows that there's going to be somebody on these stairs. The question is, does Smash know? The pre-fire shots come round. You can afford to pre-fire as much as you like with that LMG, and Smash will take just such an opportunity to do so. Robin didn't really stand too much of a chance there. But again, Demo, time's running short. 30 seconds left. Now we're starting to hear a bit of skeleton key action. That's going to certainly make Nitro feel uncomfortable. Nails with one Toxic Babe canister left can try and look to do something, at least for the meantime, cut off the top of White Stairs, and that's where the second's going to go as well. A couple of missed shots, but eventually the player will be taken on out.
No.
The Frostback comes through as Rush falls foul. Nitro, 12 seconds. He's been here before, he's done it. He could do it again. We're now starting to see the plant go down. Is he going to push at the last possible second? The smoke could give him a great wall of cover to do so. He tried it, but his timing was just a little bit off. He's still going to find one and a second. It's now 1 versus 2. Don't forget that Rush is down here. We could be about to see history repeat itself. He's locked into the 1 versus 1 again with a mission. This time, a little bit more health available. Playing ring around the rosy at the moment, puts in some really good shots there. Surprised it wasn't a headshot. As Nitro, he's looking confident for this. He's looking thirsty. He knows that he has to push. This time he has to defuse. He's done it again, Demo. 4 kills on the round. Plenty of time to disable the diffuser. Nitro, back-to-back clutches.
Back-to-back 1v4s. I am flabbergasted. I cannot... oh my.
The trash talk, the BM.
Out of the mud. Again, Hellraisers, how has that happened again? How?
Well, is there any good... the positive spin. What's the positive spin, Demo?
No positive, they lost the round.
No, it's not.
I don't care how well they might have played up until that point. Sure, they did phenomenal. They
Doesn't
bait
matter.
out Robin extremely well, knowing that Robin was going to be impatient. They found him, but all that just goes down the toilet. All of it goes down if you lose that round, and they did. And they did.
It's not often that you get to see the same site play out in almost an identical way. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff indeed. Nitro deserves all the credit he gets. He nearly made the play here. You could tell that he was going to do it because of the way that he tried to play that smoke. The smoke was both good and bad. But if he'd have popped out and someone had been planting right next to the window, that would have been a problem again. As it stands, he was able to get all the kills. What else is there to say? If you can't hold on to a post plant in that sort of close proximity, Demo, realistically, what can you do?
Again, they have that lead, and then they go again for that double window. Why don't they rotate towards bedroom? Why don't they carry out an actual formulated take?
The question is further than that. Why was everyone in the site? That's the question.
I mean, you have to highlight the Frostmat, don't you? You have to highlight it
because came in huge.
I don't know if it put a bit of pressure on them. It kind of trapped them in a corner. I don't know what the kind of thought process were. Clearly, they had no idea where he was. That was evident to see. They had no idea where the last man was positioned. And then he just struck out of nothing, out of nowhere.
16-5 now. Certainly a big reason as to why his team is here and fighting the clash. Being brought this time as well. It's going to do quite a lot to slow down the push from Hellraisers.
Mm-hmm. Interesting pickup. I mean, especially for how Helios have played, it wouldn't really be the kind of game style I would have expected from them. I thought that they would have been more gung-ho, obviously a lot more aggressive, but I think whenever you're taking the clash, you're kind of forfeiting somebody with a gun. That's essentially what it is. It's just like whenever we look at Monty, you're forfeiting somebody with a gun, which is, you know, the main issue that we've kind of ran into with Clash and Monty is if everyone starts dying around them, they are stuck in horrible positions that they just can't win because they just can't win the gunfights. They can't fight against it.
It's doing a lot to slow everything down at the moment. You know, we've got the hatch open, great, but realistically, what else have Hellraisers got to show for the half of the round that we've seen spent? They're going to drone out now and found out that Brian is going to be playing elbow. Nobody immediately pushing off the back of that, though. There's going to be a couple of flashes here. Lion scan, maybe a push off the back of it. Utility now being eaten up as the nade will sail through. Nade unsuccessful. It removes the shield, but not much else. Mission going to take down Nitro. You can't pick who you get, but that's a great opening start here. It's going to do a lot to relieve some of that clutch factor potential, but Brian pre-fires himself a great kill onto a mission. I think it's him coming in, but arguably a little bit too little too late. Now, Clash's shield was down there from the nade, but Nails has since recovered. Rush is making his way on in. Covered by the smoke at the moment. Still not a lot of time really left to do things, and no seeming answer for how to deal with this Clash Demo.
No, look at Brian. He's somehow been allowed to slip into elbow. He will be refragged, but he got his kill, he got his trade. He assisted with the fallback from the Rook and the Clash. And now we're in a position where Helios, they have forfeited Pillar pretty much, but they still do have elbow. Never mind. How has that happened? Purple just standing out in the open.
Oh.
Robin tried to swing, but Flares is ready for them all. And down goes the Clash. Hellraisers are able to pull that one out of nowhere. It was looking pretty even. And then bang, Flares, 2 kills.
Yeah, being able to catch Purple there. Purple trying to play the long angle, trying to play with that ACOG and try and get that better line of sight, but just caught flat-footed. Both those players there, that's why pocket reinforcements exist as a concept. You know, spend 9, keep 1 in your pocket. Anyone then can reinforce that elbow wall. If that elbow wall had been reinforced, different round. Said and done. It would have been a match point and a series point for Helios. As it stands, Hellraisers, they've got there. At long last, they've got themselves onto a match and a series point. Seems like years ago since we saw Bank and that 7-0 that they were able to give us there. This is their opportunity. This is their chance to take this best of 3.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
Match point, series point for Hellraisers. Can they do it? 1 round. Basement attack is what they will head for. Helios, again, have went for the setup where they're going to try and hold in towards elbow. This time they've also brought the Warden. Good adaptation. You looked at the smokes from Hellraisers. It just assisted them getting into elbow. It covered off the Lion as he ran in. With that Warden, that's not going to happen.
No, the Warden pick's great. As you mentioned, the smokes weren't used to cover a plant. They weren't used to burn anything. It was nothing fancy. It was just to get them in.
Yep.
It was just to provide a bit of a smoke screen in every sense of the word to be able to then move through, push into elbow, push into Shaiko and bottom pillar and those sort of locations. Frostmat, rating out of 10 in Harry Potter?
I mean, you would expect that position to be droned anyway, so I don't think that'll probably catch them by surprise. Maybe that one that he's putting down in the corridor, you can see that being a potential, because we see like a player would stand in that position close in the wall, would get misthrown, and would appear with 2 kills. I mean, that's a position that, again, does get unchecked. But you just hope that Hellraisers, whenever Nitro has been non-stop playing the Frost, that they should be ready for it. They should be.
It can't be a surprise at this point in time, can it? It can't be a shock that there's going to be 3 Pogmats out there that you need to keep a very good eye out for and need to account for in your droning and when you're moving about and transitioning the map. Exodus, good bit of info gathered there. He just got a glimpse of a head. He's playing this very coy. He doesn't want to give the game away. I say that he's going to send the drone down eventually. Looking just to maybe bait somebody into a push. As the rounds have progressed and as the game's gone on, that's something that we've seen Hellraisers more willing to do, is to try and bait these players out because they know just how impatient Helios can be.
I mean, I think Helios have displayed multiple times where they have gotten impatient. You look at one of the rounds on the kids attack, or the kids defense for Helios. You know, Robin was being hunted, but he wasn't really in the same instincts because nobody was actually pushing him. They waited for Robin to come to them. And I think that just kind of shows that they're not here to sit back and relax. They want to get in your face. They want to create these kills. And if Hellraisers reads into that, Helios are going to go down.
Purple had a good couple of points of damage chunked down onto him there. Exodus is masterfully playing these back stairs at the moment. He's not overexposing himself. He's just pushing down, getting a couple of bits of damage, gathering a little bit of intel. Now we see the Lion Scan come through, the utility dump as the player in elbow needs to be removed. Nitro still in the hot seat. He's got a chance to swing onto either the stairs or the doorway. Mission playing above. If that wall does get opened, it's going to be very difficult for Nitro to continue playing here in this fashion. Sounds like the Excalibur spell's actually got shot off there as another Lion Scan comes through. It's going to root everybody in place. The smoke canister now comes out to try and give that cover, give that line of sight, but Purple's going to open up, takes out the player on the back stairs, removes Exodus, rushes there to trade it back as he's been able to get himself into that power position yet again. And a 3 versus 2 now as Flares has done what he did last time, Demo. Picked up 2 really important kills on pushing into the site. Robin now going to play the breach very close, but doesn't really want to move, isn't afforded the time. 15 seconds. We need to start seeing kills or a plant. Well, this one is going to go to overtime. A Mission looking to push down Robin. He's going to pick up one onto Rush. A Mission gets chunked as well and downed in process. Flares, it's all down to you, but he can't do a thing. Robin picks up a couple of kills there. Played beautifully. Barely moved his feet and locked in an overtime for his team.
Yeah, strong position he was in. Was on drone from Hellraisers. Was able to sit there, utilize the holes that he had with that soft wall, and yeah, really put it to bed. Again, we highlighted Flares in these situations where things are not going for Hellraisers. He's able to make it happen, but just couldn't do enough in that scenario. So we head to overtime. First overtime that we have. Oregon, 4-2 splits for both teams.
But it shouldn't have been.
I hate to say it, it should have been an easy victory for Hellraisers. They let 2 rounds just being tossed away. And that, I mean, if they lose this series, that's it. That would be it. That's our kind of, okay, why did they lose? Oh, well, look at this round, look at this round.
If it was 1 round, you could sort of attest the loss to more things.
Yeah,
you could spread it out a little bit. But the fact that it was 2 rounds, borderline identical, that's when you can start to pinpoint and go, that is your problem. That is the thing that, as a team, you struggle to make happen.
Of course, yeah.
And you know what? The confidence on Helios, if they're in a 1 versus 3, 1 versus 4, 1 versus... they're going to feel like it's winnable. Because it was. It was winnable twice.
Yeah. I think overall for Helios is that they've had confidence in themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, just the bounce back from being 7-0'd on your map to what they've done is already commendable. And, you know, you look at Nitro, 17 kills. It's individual brilliance like this that can single-handedly be the difference maker if you win a map or if you don't. You know, we see us play at times where one guy is just off on one. You know, he's sitting there flying high with the most kills, and there's not a single thing you can do against it. You know, if one guy's on his aim, on his day, you can't do it. You just can't. And unfortunately for Hellraisers, you know, that they felt that not just once, but twice.
Let's see how this shakes out then. Helios, they have had the fortune of starting on the defense demo. That could be quite big here. We've seen them do well on defense. We've seen this be a 4-2 game for both of these sides. but Laundry hasn't been kind to them. They've picked up the majority of the rounds upstairs, off the back of clutches. So it isn't as clear-cut as it may seem. They're going to be playing the clash again on those back stairs. Robin, been a nightmare on the roam all series long, playing in and around that main lobby. We see Purple drop back in through Freezer as well. It'd be nice to see things mixed up here in overtime. It'd be nice to see different pushes come out, because Hellraisers can make that push work on occasion, but they can't make it work every single time. So for them to say, you know what, we're going to go Laundry, we're going to go Freezer, I think it'd be a nice little breath of fresh air here, Demo, to see this push sort of change up a little bit. It's not going to. They're going to go for the rear stairs. They're going to go for these back stairs and try and remove the clash. Their adaptation, their big thing has been, we're going to try and bring the Flores. We're going to bring the Rotero drones and see if we can make those work and if they can just be that little bit more pushing power that we might need.
Gonna try and send a lot of them down towards the stairs to try and pressure out this clash that is causing them issues. Mish will actually glide right past the clash and try and open up, I think, the Kai charge, and they got it.
How did it get that far?
I don't know, and I don't think I've ever seen that happen before. A Flores drone going down the back stairs has been able to slip past about 3 people and somehow got the Kai charge to go over it. What value? Wow, what value.
It's like the Forrest Gump of Rotero drones. It's travelled the most distance I think I've ever
dodging
seen.
bullets, dodging everything.
Horrendous.
Lieutenant Dan on his back.
Alas, it's happened now, and it's allowed the hatch to be opened. It's a bit of a stretch to bring that just for that single purpose, though, because you've got to jump it up onto the wall a little bit as well to get the job done.
I think the idea was elbow, I think, was their kind of go-to, but I think they wanted to take elbow and then get the Kai claw, but with this clash being here, they just can't do it.
Well, they're trying to solve problems on the fly. We hear the smokes go out yet again. Nitro in that nightmare position inside of Harry Potter again, as Robin is going to be peeking off the back of the deployable shield this time. Does have the ADS there to assist him, but will be taken out. The smoke not being entirely kind there. Ooh, is going to get taken out there as Nitro will be able to take down Flares. Flares has been a big player in all of these Laundry rounds so far. 2 versus 2. Again, 5 seconds left. Not enough time. The diffuser cold on the ground. Exodus, he might be inside, but what is he able to do? Finds one, but it's all impactless.
Nitro, again, being the lone survivor for his side. Hellraisers got caught out. It should have been a surefire kill, I feel, for Flares in that scenario. But it just wasn't. He could not land the shots. He couldn't find his man. And in that stage, diffuser is cold. Nitro has full elbow control. And now we're sitting match point, series point for Helios.
Helios have really been able to turn this one around. I believe we've got a break. I think that's what's come through there.
I think it's needed.
I think it's needed.
It's almost like the calm before the storm, isn't it? Before you know stuff starts to fly around this map, because we've got 2 rounds left. Hellraisers, they are in the back foot. They need to now produce the goods. They need 2 clean rounds now to win this series. And yes, they have defense now, which you would expect them to win.
Yep.
But then they're going to have to attack, I think, that kids again.
And that's going to be almost a little bit PTSD, given what's happened up there previously. I don't think I've ever seen a game go as long as this one in terms of going to an overtime. Yeah. And it's probably going to go to maximum overtime. I really wouldn't be surprised if we don't end up there. That's been carried single-handedly off the back of one player. Like, Nitro has just hard carried this entire game.
He's kept them alive, yeah.
Without him, Helios would not even be in contention for a match point, let alone an overtime. Let alone an overtime match point. So the fact that we've seen so much of it just come down to that one singular player, there's a lot of pressure on him. Is he going to be able to do that 3 times in a row? There's a very good chance he will, because I don't think Hellraisers are going to be looking forward to going back and attacking upstairs. As it stands, they've still got to get through this round if they want to do that. They've still got to defend downstairs in the Laundry. They're fighting for their lives at this point.
This is it. This is it for Hellraisers. Their chance. Their big chance. We said this matchup should have been done a long time ago, but we've gotten to this stage. Helios, can they do it? Can they do the unthinkable? Can they do it? I mean, I think there were people who maybe were predicting, you know what, maybe they could do it with how they've played. Maybe they were hiding stuff after Bank. I think those opinions would have changed drastically for Helios. And you know, now we're at a stage where they are in the position that they can move on into the upper bracket semifinals, which is just it feels like a figment of my imagination that I'm watching, but they've done it. It's real. It is here.
And this is where dreams are made. You know, these are the kind of plays, and this is the way that we're expecting these games to go down over the next month or so. We're expecting upsets. We're expecting teams to come out and really just throw everything on the line. And that's what Helios have done today. It doesn't matter if you lose map 1 badly. The score is really irrelevant. Like, we can't stress that enough. It's fun to say it was a 7-0, but it is irrelevant in the grand scheme of things. It's one map for Hellraisers. That's it. Helios come back, they get their map of Villa, and then all of a sudden things start to slowly fall into place for Helios to be sat on a match point here. There's a chance that it ends here and now. We've seen them attack relatively well. It's not been the best, but it certainly hasn't been the worst. And at this point, all the pressure's on Hellraisers.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, right now, Helios, they will start to open up all these hatches again. This is what they did last time. Just gives themselves options, and then they can kind of choose where they want to rotate. Towards, it looks as if blue again will be their avenue of approach. Doesn't look as if there's a shield for Flares this time, an elbow. I think he's rotated now. You can see right beside Exis, and that actually assists them holding that single soft wall, so it gives them more pillar control. But I mean, like I said, it does leave Flares a little bit open though, Ollie.
It does, and he needs to be mindful of that. Smash looking to try and play into bunker, into backstairs, just be that everything guy down there. There's less of a presence here. You think back to how we saw Helios play in this area. They were really aggressive in that defense. They played Shaiko spot, they played Pillar, they sometimes played Harry Potter as well. Hellraisers are backing themselves up. They don't want that fight. They want to try and rely on the utility. You can see the Jaeger ADS placed in front of the Aruni gate there. That's in order to really try and deny a lot of throwables and projectiles. Kills starting to trickle on in now. 2, make it 3 for Hellraisers before Robin finds one in return. Toxic Babe canisters cutting off the push for now, cutting off that line of sight. The diffuser in the hands of Robin. Brian looking to try and make a bit of an impact here. There's one nade left in the hands of Robin, so we could try and push in off the back of that. There's going to be no time to drone for the single drone that Robin has in his pocket. Instead, it's going to be a nade to try and figure out if anybody is going to be holding down onto the corridor. The answer, no. 4 players for Hellraisers, all backed up, all inside a laundry and inside a closet, looking to pounce at the right time. Flares just hops himself up there, puts a few pre-fire shots in with the SMG. With the diffuser being in Robin's hands, there's a chance he could try and get the plant off here, and he does need his teammate to cover him. Brian, he's going to be able to take down onto Flares. You can't go at this one at a time. We've seen what happens if you do. Hellraisers by the skin of their teeth. Demo, honestly, I thought we were going to see it yet again there, but they managed to get that one over the line. They have pulled the overtime match point.
And again, I believe a bulletproof camera, Ollie, once more.
They had 3 that round.
It helped them out a lot. They had clear information onto the diffuser, and as soon as they seen that the Maverick rotated away, they did that so well. They just had to push. Even if Maverick had gotten that kill onto Exis, I believe, it wouldn't have mattered. It would not have mattered because the time was done. The time was gone. So, yeah, well played to Hellraisers. All they knew in that round was we need to stop the diffuse going down, and they did just that. I love the adaptation of the deployable shield. They moved it from elbow. They were able to reinforce elbow up also. But that shield, it just stops that whole pillar anarchy going on. You know, we've seen Helios just expose every single time. So all credit to them. And now we're at 7-7. But pressure not off from Hellraiser. Pressure is back 10 times even more.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that last round was to get a chance at being put under even more pressure. Because now this is really do or die. Whoever wins this round is going to advance through to the upper bracket semi-final. The next 3.5 minutes are going to tell us quite a lot about these two teams.
Look at the kills. There is only 1 player positive from Helios, and there is 3 players positive right now for Hellraisers. Yet Hellraisers have looked more, I would say, in the defeated fashion than
that's how you know that this is a skewed game.
Yeah.
Where you've got 19 and 8, and then everyone else is, as you say, scraping by, not even.
2 KD, and it's 14 rounds in. That is immaculate.
Very impressive stuff. Natros put a big shift in today. I'm sure that we'll see him give it his all here and now. He's playing on the frost. That's a dangerous thing. We know what he's able to do with that 9mm. If you've joined us since the start of this game, where we've not seen every round. He's been able to get 2 4Ks on this very site. So I'm expecting great things. And there's not really too much of a change for Hellraisers. I mean, what else can you bring? You can't really bring anything to assist you winning a 4 versus 1. You should have everything you need anyway. You don't need anything too special. But that's certainly going to be playing in the backs of their minds. There's a shield actually on the hatch. The hatch is reinforced. It's a great little way of having a pocket of safety to play in.
Only thing you would be worried about is if somebody goes in the kitchen, they could just throw a nade up through the flooring then just land right beside the shield, which is the only thing. But then again, you can kind of see where Nitro was thinking, opening up holes and is trying to hold that kitchen to kind of protect his hatch and maybe get a kill in the meantime alongside that. So yeah, it looks as if they're ready for it. Hasn't been really the same roam presence. You can look at Rush, look where he's positioned down on the laundry stairs, maybe expecting you're looking at Robin, which, again, he's on the prowl. He's always ready for a fight. Here comes an H from below. Nothing comes of it, though. You can see Helios, they've backed away in positions that can't really be naded. Yeah, all of them in kind of concrete flooring.
We're seeing a similar push come here from Hellraisers. They go in for this white stairs.
I worry.
There's 2 frost mats on big window. Like, this is... It's not been a good way of them pushing this site. You know, get yourself into attic. Try and make something happen that way. They're desperately trying to get something with one of these nades, but they've either not got the information or something isn't going right for them, because every single one we've seen thrown has done a point of damage at best. Exodus sends through the Iana clone, gathers a bit of intel, but the Toxic Babes, they're going to do a lot to cut off this time.
Yeah, and I think the fact that they've wasted nades right now, Ollie, on other things, trying to get kills, hasn't helped them out. Exodus will use his last nade, and that will destroy that deployable shield that Brian was trying to hold on to. There's the first pick. Robin eventually does come up and will be eliminated, but it's Nitro, Ollie. We have to look at Nitro. His shield on that hatch is still alive, and he can stop anyone jumping in double window.
Brian's got the vertical angles to play with as well, as Exodus is going to rotate around, maybe getting himself up those armory stairs. It could be a great little in at this point in the round. Purple is aware, though. He's going to be looking to try and hold on to that, as Exodus has thought better of it. Maybe knows that it's now being held. A mission. It's a late time to be rotating through and looking to push into attic, but Exodus is going to make it happen. Finds one onto Nitro. The man of the moment in this round is now down and out. 2 versus 1 here for Hellraisers. They've got to try and push in. They've got to try and find this last kill. A mission makes it happen. Oh, Demo, they put us through the ringer there. They made us watch every single round, but eventually Hellraisers get it over the line.
Finally, they have been able to win probably the round that looked most difficult for them. On that kids, it got the 20 seconds. There were still heaps of players up for Helios, and that was actually the easiest round that they had. The Hellraisers made it so difficult for themselves. So difficult. And I'm sure they're probably sitting there thinking, why did we make it so difficult?
There's got to be a sigh of relief. You've got to at some point have a sigh of relief and just go, you know what? The good news, if you're Hellraisers or you're a Hellraisers fan, is that is unlikely to happen again. You are not likely to lose 2 4 versus 1s in one game. Yeah. That isn't a likely occurrence. And if it is, then it's probably not the place to be inside of the EU Challenger League. So as long as they can get that ironed out, they can figure out what went wrong there. They looked really good on Oregon. Discounting that, it looks okay. But counting that in, it just made us work. They've put us through it. That was map 1.
I don't know. It just felt as if Helios, they really brought it to, I think, again, did they live up to expectations? Yes. Yes, that is exactly what everyone was expecting, is this kind of crazy playstyle that is just utterly insane, but somehow is working for them, and they were winning rounds, they won maps, and just whoever has to play them next, good luck. Good luck.
It is not going to be an easy task at all. But we're going to throw to a very short break. After that, we're going to be back with the desk to break down that game a little bit and, of course, set everybody up for our second game tonight. Yes, we do have 2. We've got another best of 3 coming your way. We've got Death Row and Viperio 86 after the break.